Us scout leaders, we love a good tent, whether you're in a teepee, 3-man tent, a blow-up tent, dome tent, a tunnel tent, a hammock, under a tarp. There are loads and loads of tents that we use as a scout leader. But there's a real big kind of movement or a trend, fashion, whatever you want to call it, for tent boxes. So those tents that go on top of your car roof. And I've been looking at them thinking, $2,000 is a bit too much for a tent, and plus I don't camp in the car park, but I want one. I want one so badly. But there's no way my wife is going to let me spend $2,000 on a tent. So I thought, I wonder if I can upgrade my classic Vango Force 10 tent to something else. And I've been looking online and I found some absolutely banging tents, unique tents, all right? Some tents, well, these tents, I guarantee, will raise an eyebrow, woo, and people will start talking. Just check these tents out. So a few years ago, I got the Decathlon 4.1 Keisha Air Tent. It is amazing. I love it. It's big, but it's bulky and it's heavy. So I don't tend to use it if I'm camping on my own. If I'm with some scout leaders, we're sharing a tent, or if I'm going family camp, I will take it. But if it's just me going to scout camp or reunion or something, it's just too big for me to take. So I take my Vango Force 10, or now lately the Cardboard that's nicked the same style. But check out these new air tents. This one is a pub. All right, it doesn't come with alcohol, it doesn't come with beer pumps inside, but how cool is that? All right, if you're not wanting the pub, what about this air inflatable tent in the style of a log cabin? Now, this next tent is the world's smallest pub. You might get 1 or 2 of you in there, but that's it. Now, we do like to save some money as a scout leader. I know I do. I'm always spending it, so I need to save it. How about this one? A cardboard tent. Yes, these are kind of a new fashion for festivals. You know, at the end of Glastonbury and Reading, the tents, there's thousands of tents that are just trashed. Well, not even trashed, some of them. Most of them are just left because the campers can't be bothered to take them back. So there's hundreds, if not thousands of tents left behind over these festivals. And the festival goer thought, actually, let's reinvent a tent to make it more eco-friendly, recyclable, and they come up with a cardboard tent. Now, I've seen some reviews. They are good. They're okay as long as it doesn't rain heavily. They kind of have a little bit of waterproof, so if it does have a bit of a light drizzle, it's okay. But if you're not going to take them in the winter camp when it is bucking it down. But in general, if you're going to festivals this time of the year, it will work. The cardboard tent. What do you think, scout leaders? Now, if you're a scout leader, a bit like me, who likes the comfort of the tent, but also likes hammocking, check this one out. Now, I might get this pronunciation wrong, but I think it's called Tentstile. Tentstile? I think that's how you pronounce it. This is a hammock that you put in between 3 trees, but also you've got that tent enclosure on the top. I think it's absolutely brilliant. But there's a bit of a pros and cons, isn't there? It's got that kind of pro that you're in a hammock, that kind of swinging around, but you've got to make sure that you've got 3 trees of equal distance. We know the drama, if you're going hammocking, to get that equal space between those 2 trees. Sometimes there's not trees that have that space, isn't it? They're either too far, too close, or whatever. So in this one, you need to make sure you've got 3 trees. Another dilemma, but it is a pretty cool tent, you have to agree. All right, so you don't want to go for anything too drastic. You're not going for a tent on top of your car. You don't want to go for one in a tree. How about a floating tent? No scout, beaver, cub is going to come and unzip your tent in the middle of the night and go, "Oh, Kayla, I don't feel very well," because you are floating. Well, I was about to say floating down the river. Hopefully not, because you're well anchored. But you could be in the middle of a lake or something, like far away. No one could get you on this floating tent. But there is a downside. That 1 o'clock pee, you need to get out of the tent, and then you realise, oh no, I'm in the middle of a lake. Got to get the canoe or the paddle and paddle back to shore. So yes, there's a pro that you're far away from the young people, but there's a con if you're wanting a midnight pee and you've got to paddle back to shore. I don't know, but it looks pretty cool. All right, scout leaders, these ones are really, really cool. So these tents are your normal kind of A triangle tent, your normal, not dome tent, but like the Force 10 tent that I use. So it's a standard tent, but on the outside, your canvas, your outer skin is printed with so many designs. Now, this list could have been so long with the amount of the designs that you can get. So I've just picked up some of my favorite ones. A VW, a Volkswagen tent. That's cool if you're a VW lover. Now, what's the band? Another Brick in the Wall. What are they called? Band's gone out my head, but this one is a brick wall. Why is that band? No, the brick. Singing in my head, but I just can't. Is it Pink Floyd that does Another Brick in the Wall? Comment below for the answer. But imagine having your tent bricks. All right, it'll be heavy, but don't. This is a printed tent, don't forget. If you want to go more traditional with scouting, you can make it look like a log cabin with this log effect. Feeling a bit hungry? Sandwiches? Not sure. Picnic on your tent? Nah, maybe not. Especially if you've got the egg mayonnaise one. Oof. All right, maybe this one isn't for your beaver cub camp or even scouts. This has got to be a networker leader camp. But this one here, a couple kissing. So before I tell you the most awesome tent that I've ever found, do me a favor, can you subscribe to Big Man in the Woods? Click that notification bell. Every time I upload a video, you will get notified when it's on there and when I go live on my live streams. That will help me and it will also help you. So thank you very much. Right, last but not least, the most awesome tent that I have found. Well, it's awesome because it's funny, but if it was your tent, it's not going to go work. This is a clear bubble tent, right? So there's no privacy. It's a clear tent. Why would you want this? I don't know, but I thought it'd be quite cool. You could just, well, I was about to say sit in your tent, but you wouldn't sit in your tent. But you know, like you could observe what the scouts are doing, who's running around. But yeah, you would get no privacy. You'd be sleeping in your tent, and then you wake up in the morning, you got 5 little beavers looking at you while you're like maybe dribbling from the side or something in your sleeping tent. I don't know. But I thought it'd be quite funny. But now I think about it, it's not practical, is it? So there you go, Scout Leaders. Some really awesome tents that you can get if you want to stand out from the other Scout Leaders, or maybe just do what I'm going to do and try and get a tent box for the top of the car. Hey, by the way, if you want to see the air tent that I was talking about, the Decathlon one, this video here is my review. If you're looking for an air tent, I highly recommend this one. Check it out.